games. You've had 4 very different dates: the home opener, Marshall, FCS, LSU at night, awful weather last week. What do you envision? How do you establish any consistency for what you envision and what you want to do going forward?
Well, last week was disappointing, to be honest with you, just from much like what we just talked about with our offense. Our job's to be consistent every week, and try to make it as good as we possibly can every week. And it's our players, coaches and players' expectations to, do their very best every week, and whether it was, the first game of the year with the excitement or, and we didn't do the best of jobs against that second game, but we ended up playing okay in the second half. Last week was easy, and then 2 weeks ago was easy, and then you come into this week where you got all kinds of excuses not to play well. Had to cancel the man trip. We had, bad weather. It was cold. It was wet. The environment was terrible. It was relatively early. Maybe you didn't respect your opponent. No matter what the excuses were, our players didn't buy into it, but obviously our fan base did. So, whatever our expectations are with our players as far as preparing every week and going to the game and playing their best, I, highly encourage our students and our support to take the same approach. You only get 7 opportunities a week, or 7 opportunities a year. What's so hard about it? Is it too cold? It wasn't too cold for our players. It wasn't too cold for our coaches or managers or trainers. They were out there. So why did we have 20,000 people less of this one than we did last week? And the funny part about it is we're all talking 2 weeks ago about, how much difference the fans and the crowd's going to make to the LSU people. Well, LSU, played well in front of 62,000 of our people, and then turned around and went home and played a 1-4 Kentucky team at noon and had 95,000 people there. You want to talk about an elite program? That's one. I don't know about this place.
Fixes? Do you have to get out there and beat the drum a little louder, or is it just something that if you're 10-1, for example, they just show up and maybe not when they're 1-1?
It's a good question. I'm new here. You guys aren't. I just see it. I just call it like I see it. You guys know me pretty well by now. I'm just going to go ahead and say what I think. So, all I heard in the offseason, I did get out there and beat the drum down. I talked about how important it is to our athletic department and our players and our coaches to have support. And all I heard about was how big of how much this meant to everybody across the state of West Virginia. And, this was the NFL team here in town, and we're going to be there to support you. Well, having 40,000 people at a game isn't doing that. And the only thing we can do about it is, which is why I'm talking about it now, the only thing we can do about it is fix it, which we do our best every week to fix what the problems are offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. Well, what's everybody across the state of West Virginia, including the student body, doing to fix the fact that our players had to show up and play in front of 40,000 people? We have a conference game coming up this week. It's at noon. I can give you some excuses now. Playing a team that's 2-3, well, they should be 5-0. Playing at noon, well, who cares? Get up. Man trips at 9:45. Are we going to have a good crowd, or are we going to have nobody there? Is the weather going to be 85 and sunny, or is it going to be 25 and snowing? It really doesn't matter, because coaches and players and trainers and everybody else are going to be there. That's what our job is. So, what's the support people's job? All right. See you guys Saturday.